29th. I'm pretty sure. It's a Wednesday. Coming from the San Rafael studios of what we call CMCM, Community Media Center of Marin. Welcome to California Times. Trying to keep up with these times. I'm probably about, I don't know how many years behind. But I'm still on the crest of the wave, my own wave. Well, I've got some video planned to show you here. We're going to take a look at a reference point in American history for me. Barbara Jordan, I've featured her before, but sometimes I think that anybody who sees my show is seeing it for the first time because basically I don't know if I have enough viewers to count in this universe of mass media. It's more like individual media here with Guy. But welcome, and I'm going to hear some Barbara Jordan, and I'll get a few more I'll say something after we listen to this video. So let's just take it away, Guy. See what you can do, Guy.
Claims which are surrounding public opinion where immigration is concerned, because people on both sides of this issue have engaged in too much hyperbole. We have got to put the matter of immigration back on a civil course. We have got to know that immigration really goes to the heart of who we are as a nation. If we are confident enough as Americans in our culture, we should welcome the legal immigrant. We should be able to accommodate diversity in our society. Are we strong enough to welcome those who ought to be in and retain a commitment to the rule of law by keeping those out who shouldn't get in? If we ought to preserve our immigration tradition and our ability to say yes to the people who want to get in and seek entry, we've got to have the strength to say no to the people who are not supposed to get in. We need to make deportation a part of a credible immigration policy. As a nation committed to immigrants and the rule of law, we've got to do that balancing act. The most urgent immigration problem we face today is the unauthorized entry of hundreds of thousands of illegals. That undermines our commitment to legal immigration. Although the illegal alien may be generally law-abiding, and particularly in good economic times, maybe we need the illegals, their entry in violation of the law is a violation of our national interest. We believe a credible approach to immigration must be comprehensive. First, border management. We support a very simple view about border management: prevent illegal entries, facilitate legal ones. The second part of our strategy: work site enforcement. Employment, we believe, continues to be the principal magnet for illegal aliens coming into the country. As long as U.S. businesses benefit from illegals on their workforce, they are not going to try to help us get on top of the problem. We believe that employer sanctions must be made to work, and enhanced labor standards enforcement essential components of a strategy to reduce the job magnet. The third part of our recommendations: immigrant eligibility for public benefits. That's a major one. The Commission believes that decisions about eligibility should support the objectives of immigration policy. Using these objectives as a measure of benefit policy, we come to the following conclusions. First, legal permanent residents should continue to be eligible for needs-tested assistance programs. Our views on eligibility for benefits of illegal aliens are different from those benefits that are recommended for legal aliens. If an alien is in this country lawfully, he should receive whatever benefits a lawful resident receives. But if a person is here unlawfully, he should be entitled to no benefits. No benefits. Why the distinction between the eligibility of legal aliens and illegals? Illegal aliens don't have the right to be here. They broke the law to get here. They never intended to become a part of our social community, and they are not entitled to benefits. They have no intention to integrate.
Okay. Wow. Intense. That's the mid-1990s. Barbara Jordan, she was a congresswoman from Texas, first black congresswoman. In 1992, she was the keynote speaker at the Democratic Convention. She was the recipient of a Medal of Freedom. She was the head of the Commission on Immigration that I believe George Bush Sr. initiated, and Bill Clinton, President Clinton, took over. And I don't think it was till about 1995 till this bipartisan commission released its report. And basically, it would have been great to have, for this country to have gotten on top of the issues or on the problem back then. But what has happened is, has not happened at all. And so now we're swinging back to these draconian left versus right states of existence. Right now, with the border being almost sealed comparatively with Trump in office, and it was pretty much a never-ending line, almost a free-for-all entering during the Biden years. It's just challenging. It's a population issue, really, and an American issue of who we are and identity. I personally, if I was telling a friend, I'm basically kind of thought of my perspective on the environment and politics was, I think, tempered by a sense of biological realities that humans, the human tide, the human creation that we are, has continually expanded. We're still at that state of expanding. Just a few years back, maybe it was 15 years ago, when I did a search online trying to figure out how much of undeveloped land in America was turned into concrete or housing every year. In other words, developed. And it was a pretty staggering number. But I haven't looked it up in a long time, and maybe I was mistaken. But I thought I put it in terms of almost a third the size of Connecticut every year was, if you could just, a huge amount of land is transformed into, quote, more housing, more development for, and I'm not even sure, farmland, et cetera. To me, this was an issue for the planet, and sort of maybe where I come from, when it might seem that I'm very strong on the no enough immigration, stop. I think everybody anywhere, San Salvador, Nigeria, Lithuania, Ukraine, Gaza, anywhere in the Middle East, anywhere, is that people should have the power to protect, defend, and make better their own community, and to hang in that community, to be with there. We're talking about, this was the 1990s when Barbara Jordan was giving that speech. her recommendations of the commission were abandoned by Clinton due to opposition by Wall Street, manufacturers associations, political interest groups, Asian immigration, Jewish immigration. Various people came out against it. The whole commission recommended much more control of the immigration status, and it was ignored. And bringing us up to date with where we are now, going back to the 1950s. Let's see. I'm going to Ozzie and Harriet. You know, it's a different world, a world that some might say is of 1950s innocence, or some might say guilt. Look at this white family here on TV, not like modern TV, but there's something interesting here. We're going to listen to it. Okay, here we go. Ozzie and Harriet, they had a hit show that ran, I think, for 14 years continually with their two sons going through childhood together, and they were actual real married couple, and their kids were, anyways, all real in its own Hollywood way.
Oh, gee, I almost forgot. It's just about my turn to have the Kappa Sig party at our house.
So soon?
What do you mean you almost forgot? You've been sitting there for 20 minutes trying to figure out how you'd work it into the conversation. Hey, drummer boy, drink your milk.
Ricky
Is
Nelson.
it okay if we have it here, Mom?
On the
Well,
right.
sure, I guess so, if it's your turn. When's it supposed to be?
Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Okay, Ricky. See, that hardly gives us time enough to warn the neighbors.
It is kind of short notice, don't you think so, Dave?
Well, it was supposed to be at Don's house, but his little brother got the measles. Don't look at me. I've already had them.
Well, don't worry about it, Dave. I can have things ready in time. But you guys are going to have to help.
Well, you don't have to do a thing, Mom. All we need is some potato chips and Cokes.
Oh, that's what you said the last time. But if we're going to have a party here, let's make it a good one.
For a small consideration, I'll bring my drums downstairs and liven things up a bit. Or better yet, I'll take the girls into the den and teach them to rock and roll. Frankly, I was figuring on bribing you with $1 to go down to the movies for the evening.
Anyhow, that had everything in it there, right? It had the precursor of the 1960s damage of teaching everybody to rock and roll, little Ricky Nelson there, and the measles. I guess it's a vaccination issue again. But we're looking back in the 1950s here, and yeah, it was a childhood disease. Ricky had the measles. People up and down the street get the measles, go through it. And it wasn't particularly looked upon as a profound health threat. I'm not sure quite what's going on. I'm not a scholar at this. I'm not a scientist at this. I came from the little bit of the old natural foods school of thinking, where if you eat right and get your health up and your natural antibodies and all that good stuff, maybe you don't need all those vaccines. I haven't had a flu vaccine, and maybe ever. I just haven't. Is that something?
Nowadays.
No, oh, I know that, Pop. But she puts me through a regular 3rd degree every time I take Susie out. I have to get her home so darn early. I just don't think she likes me. What's the matter, Pop?
Oh, nothing. I was just thinking of a little thing I used to do when I was about your age. Every time I'd meet a girl's mother for the first time, I'd say, well, this can't be your mother. It must be your sister. Boy, from then on, I was really in solid.
Oh, Pop, who'd fall for that?
Well, I'm telling you, Dave, it never misses. You see, all women like to think of themselves as looking a little younger than they really are.
What was that again? I just got that last part.
Oh, I was just giving Dave a little advice.
Pop says the next time I'm introduced to a girl's mother, I should say, this can't be your mother, it must be your sister.
Oh, that's awful.
Oh, no, I didn't say that's what Dave should say. I said that's what I used to say when I was his age.
I think mothers are too smart to fall for that stuff nowadays, Pop.
No, Dave. Believe me, all women love compliments. Suppose she does
All
happen to
you
be
feminists
a little
out there
old-looking.
are.
At least you've made her
What do you
happy for a
think,
few minutes.
ladies,
There's no harm in
girls,
Say, I
gals?
just happened to think of something. Remember the other day when I drove in with David in the car? You said I looked young enough to be his sister.
that. Well, yes, you did.
I was so pleased I baked your blueberry pie for dessert. I should have thrown it at you.
Gee, Mom, it's the truth. Lots of kids mention how young you look.
Really?
Well, sure. Especially with your hair cut short like that. It looks great.
It looks great.
Oh, thank you, dear.
Now, you see what I mean, Dave? Not that your mother isn't young and attractive looking, but all women just love that kind of stuff.
Will you speak up a little louder? I can't hear you.
Okay, I don't know. That's let's go. There's one more. This is culture clash. Where's my Dobie?
Dobie, once a gal was dreamy, Dobie. Once a gal was creamy, Dobie. Once a gal to call his own.
Terrible. Sexist.
Is she blonde? Is she tall? Is she dark? Is she small? Is she any kind of dreamboat at all?
Okay, let's go on because I wanted to get this. I could go all day here, being politically incorrect. Let's meet Dobie here and his buddy Maynard G. Krebs, who was his beatnik buddy. Whoops, wrong. We got this thing working here? All right, so humans, if you can look at the back, the blackboard, besides Dobie's eyes, who has to check out every girl as he enters, U.S. population census is on the blackboard. Interesting. And that's what the group in social studies is studying. So let's let the tape roll.
Hi, Maynard.
Oh, hey, Big Daddy.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm like beat, man.
Hey, Maynard. Maynard, what's that on your chin?
Can't you tell, man? It's like a beard.
Yeah, it is kind of like a beard.
Hey, what are you doing tonight, man?
Oh, I'm going to the movies. It's jackpot night.
Who's in it?
It's jackpot night. If they draw your number, you win $100. Boy, do I need the money.
Oh, your father's still being, like, difficult?
Oh, boy. Say, what's your father like, Maynard?
Oh, he's like a father. What are you gonna do? We're the beat generation.
The Beat Generation, there it is.
Good morning, gentlemen.
On
hi,
TV.
Bart. How are you, Pops? How do you think I am? Broke. Either you cats got any money? Thanks a lot. Hey, Maynard, you were loaded with loot the other day. Yeah. Know what I bought? It wasn't clothes, that's for sure. Oh, who needs clothes? You do. Look at yourself, Maynard. You're a one-man slum.
A one-man slum.
Look, ain't it a gasser? It's great if you like hearing aids.
What is it?
It's like a radio. A personal portable, they call it. You plug this thing in your ear, and you're the only one who can hear it.
It's pretty
I
advanced.
can listen to jazz all through the class, and then no one knows.
And what if the teacher sees you?
What's the difference, man? He'll never figure this one out. Oh, I hear. Oh, boopity-boop-boop.
The power of music is...
Good morning, class. Now, if I can have your attention, please.
Just like today, huh?
I hate to be a party pooper, but I'm afraid I'll have to start the class now. You know, the Board of Education rather expects that. You do understand, don't you? Thank you. Now, if you'll turn to page 281.
All right, let's go back to that blackboard. So what does he have on the blackboard? Malthus, population, progression. I should go back further. And fascinating that in 1960, a high school in America might be talking about population with issues that, I mean, this is Hollywood, I suppose, but that was, I think, about the same year that JFK, during his during his acceptance speech at the Democratic Convention, used the term the threat of overpopulation, 1960, right? America's population was probably 150 million, 160 million. But we looked at China and India, and we looked at the problems of the world, and that was an issue. It was an issue. There was still the I think in the engraving on the Statue of Liberty that spoke about send us your tired masses and the teeming and cities and 60 years later, like no contender for office has said, maybe it'd be okay to when this population of our planet evens out. Maybe this is a good thing. Maybe we should say it's okay, communities. You don't necessarily have to grow. How many people does it take in any community to have a successful economy? Does it always have to be scaled upward, as the talk goes? So I think that everything is very funny. You should check out Dobie, Gillis, Ozzie, and Harriet. All right, I don't know why. I mean, humor is where the whole world should be going, right? I should be finding things to laugh about and knowing that somehow that us human beings, we're going to get through whatever stuff we got to go through. As a friend of mine, as a businessman who helped repair some computers for me, said today, don't worry, it'll only get worse. It was his friendly departure, talking about, I guess, somehow the world or the internet or whatever he had to repair. So, but I'm sentimental, and I used to visit Mexico a lot, and mysterious. Everything is mysterious, isn't it? If you go to YouTube, there's like a conspiracy behind everything. And this is already old news. This was last week. 2 CIA officers die in Mexico. And you can question my judgment for bringing it up, but it is interesting. And I, for whatever reasons, I liked AMLO, the former president of Mexico. I thought he was good for the country, that country. And I sort of like his successor. I don't really know. I'm not a Mexican. I'm not following it closely. But, and let's see what's going on.
You're back on, guys.
Yeah, you got it. What happened here? Like, where did this happen, and what do we know about the circumstances?
It's, I mean, yeah, we don't exactly know. This is the official story. So, in the border state of Chihuahua in Mexico's north, it borders with Texas and New Mexico.
Where I've been many times.
On the way back from a counter-narcotics operation, there was a car accident. And the Chihuahua state authorities claimed that around 2 a.m., this convoy of around 6 vehicles, it was dark, apparently, presumably.
At 2 a.m., yes.
The vehicle carrying the 2 CIA agents, along with 2 Mexican officials, crashed, and the 4 of them died. I mean, I will say it's possible. I mean, that late at night, you're in a rural area, mountainous. I mean, it's kind of strange that there aren't really more details, and kind of odd that all 4 of them died. I mean, hard to say.
And what do we know about the operation?
Right.
Like, what kind of operation is going on here?
Yeah,
Well, I think it's Ryan there who brought that question about the whole operation as opposed to the details of that crash. But as somebody who's been in that part of Mexico, my question still is about that accident and a convoy of 6 vehicles, and one of them in the midst of the convoy goes off the road. You think of a convoy as, I don't know, like everybody's sort of connected, and you wouldn't think they'd be driving at high speeds through a mountainous area. And that also brings up the question in my mind of like, what where in the mountains, but I didn't really I don't know how to do a Google search of Mexican newspapers to see if there'd be more details of exactly where this was. I guess wrapping it up, I think a lot of the issues of the mandated housing in California and Barbara Jordan, the glimpse of 1950s and 60s America that I think many young people don't recognize that there was some examination of issues going on then that were happening, that were valuable. The Malthus discussion on the blackboard as the Beat Generation was being introduced to America with dirty old Maynard G. Krebs, who would listen on his transistor radio to jazz, and Doug Miles Davis and Stan Kenton. And then you had the Ozzie and Harriet thing about the routine nature of measles back in those days. But now everybody seems to be so fearful of every illness. And in the meantime, we pump up our population. So you wonder if the Democrats were so lucky to get back in office in 28 in the president, what would the immigration situation, would it be an automatic signal for everybody south of the border to come through again, to line up in whatever way possible? And looking at Claudia Sheinbaum, the president, for everyone to realize that Mexico is a country. They have an economy. They have a, quote, middle class, as President Obama discovered when he visited there years ago. All of these countries do. They have something. And they have not all been destroyed by the CIA and corporate America, though I grant you it's not a pretty picture, but I think for the most part, it's just civilization itself, just with its capital, its inevitable flow. You gotta watch out for it. How do we protect local people? How do we have a local economy? Local economies in the highlands of Guatemala, in Mexico, in Chihuahua State, Durango State. You go to the farmer's market, you get the goods. What goods can be made? What would a 10% tariff across the planet, would it hurt or help? Would it encourage small countries to begin to take on their own manufacture like there once upon a time was the way of the world? Maybe it's not that bad an idea. Anyways, I guess that's it. Gone way over time here. I don't know how I'm going to condense this into a less than 30-minute show, but that's my job. All right. Cheers, everybody. Thumbs up. Rock and roll. Later.